Borrow up to $40,000 to pay off high-interest debt or credit cards. LendingClub.com/sports. LendingClub.com/sports. Doug Gottlieb joining me. A lot of issues to get to. Let's touch on one more thing, because Drew Brees coming on top of the hour, one of my favorite players. You like him too, but you pointed out the Peyton thing. You pointed out the Sean Payton thing. The dome thing was an advantage. Here's something about Drew Brees you're going to mention that doesn't get mentioned enough. Drew Brees didn't just help himself last night.
No, I mean, if not for Drew Brees, is there a Russell Wilson? And if not for Russell Wilson, is there a Baker Mayfield? And then if you look in college football, I mean, Tua Tagovailoa, who's at Alabama, he may be listed 6'1". He's closer to 6 feet, maybe even 5'11".
Right.
You know, Missouri's got a talented quarterback. He's like 5'11", 6 feet.
They'll both get drafted high.
Well, I don't know how high, though. Yes, I think Tua will be drafted probably earlier, but the idea that you couldn't be a 6-foot quarterback and succeed, he's obviously proved that to be a false statement. And we talked about Steve Nash. If not for Steve Nash, is there a Steph Curry? If not for Steph Curry, Trae Young doesn't go in the top 5, right? And how many other diminutive, thin, offensive-minded point guards are there out there that are hoping that Trae Young, becomes an all-star? If he does, that helps their draft stock. So he is a game changer. What Doug Flutie couldn't accomplish consistently, Drew Brees has been able to accomplish at his size.
Let's talk about, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I said, once they started partying after the Super Bowl, I said, they're becoming my Seahawks. Historically frustrating franchise. They get a great quarterback, and they go from interesting to, wow, they're great. The league falls in love with them, and then they party like rock stars. They get loud. They get political. You get magazine articles talking every which way and book deals. And then it's like, whenever you host a really big party, somebody's got to clean it up in the morning. And I look at Philadelphia, and I'm like...
There's a tiger in the bathroom like there was in Hangover?
Yeah, I'm like, I look at Philadelphia...
Baby crying?
There's some of that with Philadelphia. Is they partied like there was no tomorrow, and they woke up this morning, and they lost coordinators. Well, they're not the same team.
Yes, you lose coordinators, you lose quarterback coaches, you lose that edge, right? You lose the edge. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's the Shakespearean expression. And the point when you were out and I sat in for you, Joy and I discussed, it's different for everybody else. You're everybody else's biggest game.
Yeah.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and Aaron Andrews called the game this Sunday. You're everybody. Your TV's biggest game. You're the Vikings just came in, and the Vikings have been beaten at home by the Bills. They're all banged up to injury. They don't have Dalvin Cook, and they came in and whooped you.
Yeah.
And they exposed it. But I do. Here's what Philadelphia benefits from. I think some of this will create some of that us against the world. Oh, you're doubting us again. And their division stinks.
It's terrible.
Cowboys are a mess. Giants are a mess. And we saw what the Washington Redskins had to offer the world.
Washington Redskins last night, they not only had a bye week, they had a bye week plus Monday Night Football.
Yes.
You could not have had, and they have a veteran coach, a veteran quarterback, and that was what Washington right now leads that division. So to your point, Philadelphia's gonna...
I want to sell my Philadelphia stock, but this is a lot like New England early in the year, right? New England gets the field mopped with them by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But then I'm like, wait, there's 2 rookies starting at quarterback for the Bills and for the Jets. They'll be fine.
Look at the NFC East through week 5. If I said to you...
It's the NFC least.
Of your 401k, you have to put the money on one team. It's
Eagles.
Not even close.
Their defensive line is still nasty, and
their
Carson Wentz
offensive line's still good.
Can be good.
Yeah.
It hasn't been good. They've chosen not to block people at times. But they still have Carson Wentz. They still have an outstanding play caller, and the defensive line is nasty. It won them that Atlanta game.
Okay, 2 topics. Number 1, Lonzo and LeBron. LeBron comes out yesterday, said, you're ready to be the king. And I've been saying this, is that we got to slow down banging on all these young college people. So when Lonzo broke into the league last year, he didn't look physically like an NBA player.
Correct.
He looked like a buffed high schooler or a skinny collegian. And he comes into the league. And by the way, all these young guys are getting hurt. Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, Joel Embiid, Okafor. You can go, Ben Simmons missed a year because of an injury. You go from 35 games to 82. And then actually at the NBA level, everybody hits shots. You have to guard people. It's hard. Lonzo fell apart. Brandon Ingram's still falling apart. I don't know if LeBron and Lonzo will converge beautifully. I'm not sure how it works because they both need the ball. But aren't we being a little harsh on Lonzo? Dude can play, right?
Yes, I think he can play. He's going to have to earn his starting spot, but he actually benefits. He plays fairly well without the basketball. To your point, he never lifted weights. He never played pick and roll basketball. He never played real basketball. They actually had to teach him, unlike so many other young players, to stop passing the ball so much. Stop just forward passing the ball and get hot potatoing the ball. Like, dude, take over early and late. This is your time. So he had to kind of relearn and rewire himself. I think he'll be demonstrably better. Now, the one thing that I would caution people about is he didn't play a lot of basketball this summer because of the knee. His body is thicker. It's helped his shot. He hasn't really changed his shot. It's just stronger because the rest of his body is stronger. But there's going to be some kinks to work through because he, unlike his teammates, hadn't played this summer because of the knee injury. But look, was Donovan Mitchell better last year? Of course. Even Kyle Kuzma as a rookie, but Kyle Kuzma is in his early 20s, whereas he was just 20 years old.
It used to be you played 3 years of college basketball. Christian Laettner, people say he's a bust. He averaged 19 points for a couple years. Guys used to be 23 coming into the league. They're 20.
Well, I think what happens is Donovan Mitchell had a better workout and was a better player than Lonzo is, and Lonzo probably never becomes the player that Donovan Mitchell is. And when you're outshone by another rookie and maybe two other rookies, Josh Hart might be a better player. They found a diamond in the rough in Josh Hart. They love him. He is untradeable for the LA Lakers. So I think some of that takes away from him. But at the end of the day, if you can get a starting point guard, granted, he's probably overdrafted because he's from Los Angeles and because of his name, if you can get a starting point guard to go along with all the rest with Brandon Ingram, who's still young and still developing, I think they'll be fine. I think eventually he'll earn his starting spot, and I do think you'll see a dramatic improvement from year 1 to year 2.
Okay, UFC, what a shock. Crazy people acted crazy. I think you have to be wired differently to be a Navy SEAL or a UFC fighter. If you took Drew Brees, who plays in a regulated violent sport, and said, hey, Drew, would you ever fight in the UFC? Drew Brees would be like, what, am I crazy? These are crazy people, and they acted crazy.
Okay, I went to Oklahoma State, which is home of the Wrestling Hall of Fame, the real Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Not the pro wrestling.
Okay, and real wrestlers, listen, 3 things will survive the nuclear holocaust: Twinkies, cockroaches, and wrestlers. And I mean that in completely respectful terms.
Oh, God,
they are the toughest human beings on walking the earth that are professional athletes. But that's the fault of Dana. That's the fault of
Dana White.
Dana White. Okay, like Dana White, like you basically left a long trail and left a bunch of matches around, and then eventually one gets lit. And this is the problem with UFC. It is at its core. It is an incredible sport.
Oh, God, it's
right?
tribal. I can't turn it off.
You can't hide. You can't hang on the ropes, right? All you can do is tap out or get knocked out or get carried out, right?
Yeah.
But like corporate sponsors at the highest level, they don't want dudes jumping into the crowd in melees.
Obviously, yeah.
And even though we laugh at, I think, was it Derek Lewis, his post-match interview, which was incredible, was funny.
But it was inappropriate.
Completely inappropriate.
But look, me and Joy and I talked.
You can't talk about somebody's religion, their race, and their country.
McGregor did.
And expect no reaction. And McGregor just did it for attention, and Dana was just, go ahead. That's him being him. McGregor's just trying to sell whiskey. Dana's just trying to sell pay-per-view buys. Meanwhile, Khabib's sitting there going like, no, dude, you're talking about my country and my family, my religion. Of course he's going to go crazy. Yeah. What was the expected reaction?
But I talked to Joy about this, only a minute and a half left, is that the reason this is the only sport in my lifetime that didn't exist in the 80s and is now flourishing now in 2018 is there was a slot. And they're like, it's almost like, if you have, that's how Fox News was created. There's not a strong right-wing approach to news. And Roger Ailes Rupert Murdoch says, well, why can't we just go and take that slot? By the way, you can have newspapers go far right, far left.
Yes,
they filled a slot in America.
No question. No question. But it also fills the lowest common denominator. And you look at how some of the fans react to it. Look, I like it. I've seen it in person. It's an incredible sport.
I like it too.
But one of the reasons it succeeded was Dana's leadership. But Dana sometimes just like, hey, it's on autopilot now. I've cashed in. I'm not responsible for any of this. This is not my fault. This is crazy people acting crazy. If you want to not go the boxing route where people think you're a joke, then you have to have command and control. He lost control of something. He basically lit a house fire and then walked away and said, I can't believe nobody put this thing out.
Oh, that's interesting. You're more on Joy's side. Yeah, here I am, just supporting Dana in the UFC.
I love UFC. You just can't have people climbing in the stands.
Crazy people. What do you know?
Yeah, but what happens if a billionaire sits in the front row?
Yeah, it's all fun and games until I get an elbow in my eyeball. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Doug Gottlieb, good stuff. Herd hierarchy. Drew Brees next in L.A. It's the Herd.
Fridays.